We made it, folks, through the dark, long off season, through rookies and sophomore drafts, through big boards, through Superflex. The time is now. Ball Mania 4 is live. We got $3 million up top, or what I like to call 1.5 Kerranes. And I thought, what better way to start off BBM4 draft season, hot best ball summer, than with my pal, my ship chasing co-host, and of course, the defending Ball Mania champ, Pat Kerrane. We are going to talk about the contest, about the rookie landscape. And then, of course, we are going to rip a couple of drafts, as I have famously decided that I will not be doing any BBM drafts in the comfort of my own home in solitude. No, all 150 drafts, for better or worse, probably worse, will be streamed. Hot Best Ball Summer starts now.
Oh, another Influencer 101 for the backward hats, bro. Rigged!
Zach Ertz with no Tyler Algier bringback? Yikes.
You reached around for correlation? That's a no-no. You ADP bros disgust me. How about you just live a little?
Handcuffing might actually be a way to get unique if the field's avoiding it.
The Wi-Fi at this resort is a disaster?
These fucking streamers don't have player takes. What if a piss boy draft is the room you need?
Oh!
Do you know what? Like, there was one problem, Pat, with my whole idea to stream 150 drafts, and people have called me out on it, and I haven't really addressed this yet, but how am I going to be an Underdog Cardio Club bro and also a stream bro? I have not thought through that technical setup yet.
Stationary bike, perhaps, or you could do some kind of
treadmill desk, maybe.
Yeah, could you get like a recumbent bike? That's honestly what it is, dude.
Yeah,
you need a recumbent bike
here.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
have...
I'm not kidding. You just back here streaming away.
I think that might have to be it. It might actually have to be it. Thank you, Turk, for recognizing what a hero I am for this, this thing that sounds like such a good idea before you start doing it. Someone said that I need to do like 1.14 drafts every single day between now and the start of the season. I was like, look, we're going to be cranking out a few of these every stream. But I'm very excited to be here tonight. Normally when Pat and I are doing shows, it is of course over on the Ship Chasing channel. But tonight we had to get together. I had actually booked Pat for Best Ball After Dark. It's a show I've been doing just for YouTube members. I see a couple of you guys joining tonight. Appreciate that. So there are some in the archives for you guys with Leone and Chess Liam and Hope and Denny Carter. But then Best Ball Mania was going to get announced. And I said, Pat, we can't be doing this behind the paywall. We need to get out in front and start drafting here on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, last year I was complaining like, oh, Underdog, you couldn't give us the week after the draft for our sicko Dynasty Superflex rookie drafts. And then this year they said, not only that, but you're not getting the weekend either. As soon as the draft ends, we're launching this baby.
And I know that you haven't, I don't think you've been enjoying your Saturday, at least like not out and about in a New York City kind of way. You've been hard at work on your first batch of best ball rankings, specifically rookies, here up on, of course, your new site, Legendary Upside. I got that link down below. But how hard was this exercise for you to slot these rookies?
It was a little bit tough because you're kind of like reacting to the various like contingent value stuff. There's like some disappointing things, like like Izzy Abanikanda. It's like, oh, God, it's so disappointing that he goes to the Jets. Like his long-term upside's capped. But then it's like, but there's smoke that they were about to take Gibbs in the first round. Maybe this knee thing for Breece Hall is a bigger deal. Maybe he plays like early on in the season. And he, I think, is very talented, and he slots in, I think, probably over James Robinson and Michael Carter as, the handcuff late in the season. So, maybe he's like a rotational back early and has a little bit of value, and then he's got contingent value late. So I was like, he's not, he's someone I'm still interested in the late rounds. So you kind of have that, like, you got to pour one out, but then also not forget about the guy. But some guy, I think Etienne moved up considerably. Kendrick Miller moved up considerably. Zach Charbonnet was tough because it was another similar thing. You're like, oh God, that's awful. But then Pete Carroll's talking about and he is like, you watch some of these press conferences and you can see the guy's like giddy. He's like so psyched to not have a lead back anymore. He just wants to play all his running backs. So I think Charbonnet is kind of the same play that Kenneth Walker was last year.
Yeah. I was thinking about that through a few different situations. Obviously, Kenneth Walker's price isn't going to be anywhere like the prices we were getting on Kenneth Walker and Rashaad Penny last year, where it was like, the reason Sean had them both atop the zero RB list is because people were afraid of the other one, and then they both got pushed down. I don't know where Kenneth Walker is going to settle. I heard someone earlier say he still went at like pick 22 or 23 in their draft. So I don't know if we're getting a discount there. I was thinking through, and this is not to
he'll go later. He went. I should pull up where he went in mine. He went very pretty late. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm interested in that. The other one too is like, I feel like if there's a this year Walker and Rashaad Penny, it might be Rashaad Penny and DeAndre Swift, honestly, like the two guys that you just draft one of on every other team.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think we'll see where Walker settles, but let's see. He went in the 4th here. He went at pick 40. I still think that's too high.
Yeah. Man, that's tough. Yeah, he's probably more of a 5th round pick at this point.
I think he's about a 5th round pick.
Here's a question for you, because in previous years when we've had much better draft classes, specifically much better wide receiver classes, I mean, these rookies have truly been a skeleton key in best ball, where they are getting discounted for whatever reason, the ambiguity, the black box nature. And we see these guys come out of nowhere to just absolutely smash their ADP. There are two factors heading into this year that I wonder, how much is this landscape different? One, people are so much more hip to the rookie meta. We saw JSN going in the early 5th of the big board. There was no Garrett Wilson level discount on him. And number two, this is such a poor draft class, relatively speaking. Do you think the enthusiasm, the general enthusiasm for rookies might be too much, considering the weakness of this class, and that these rookies might all, like on the whole, be being overdrafted in these early rooms?
I think it's possible, but I don't think right now tonight, like, Jonathan Mingo has a lot of climbing to do. I mean, it's an early 2nd round pick on a barren depth chart with I know it's a rookie quarterback, but I think Bryce Young will be pretty good out of the gate. Like, that's a profile that, if you're getting him in the 14th round plus, is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I think people are still doing that. The Rashee Rice went in the 17th round. I was really I was really bummed I wasn't able to grab him. I got Jaden Reed in the 18th round.
Okay. All right.
Dalton Kincaid, I think, went in the 15th round. Maybe so I mean, probably yes eventually, but right now, and I still feel I feel good about Tajay Spears, right? Like, Derrick Henry's getting up there. Dontrell Hilliard's not on the roster, which is something I had to double check. So he's kind of like probably already got that type of role, and we'll steam him up, and maybe he won't be a value anymore, but I kind of like where he's going right now. So yeah, probably eventually, but I think that, like, we want to be taking chances still on some of these profiles that aren't ideal. And then I will say, I like Marvin Mims' profile, and he went in the 2nd round. So getting him in like the 11th, 12th is going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to get him in the 17th, and I could just literally, whenever I see Marvin Mims' name, I can just pretend it says KJ Hamler, and everything else is pretty much the same. Otherwise, that's what I was hoping
it's
for.
True. It's true.
Pat, I did just drop the link into what I'm screen sharing right now. This was a post that you just put up a few hours ago. I am, giving away the milk for free, but if people want to buy the cow, because these are going to get updated as we go, as we get more information, I believe you have some discounts going for the people over at legendaryupside.com.
Yeah. If you go to legendaryupside.com/early, you can sign up for $30 off your first year. It won't come up for you because you go to that link because you're already signed in. But yeah, you have $30 off your first year. And I am working on dynasty rankings that I'll have up soon. And I am working on full best ball rankings that I'll have up very soon. But I wanted to get up to the rookie rankings tonight, since that's obviously the biggest thing that's shaking things up. I also, not ready to announce yet, but I have a couple perks coming that are going to be pretty sweet for being a yearly member, and getting that deal will be the best way to make sure you grab those perks.
Awesome. Definitely check it out. And Pat also has some free posts. So at the very least, just get your email signed up so you get those in your inbox. Pat, before we hop into the draft, because I know that's what everyone is chomping at the bit for us to do, I did want to ask you just any thoughts overall on the structure of the tournament, because we do have a few different changes. Some things are relatively similar, like the size of the finals, obviously the price point. I would say the advancements are relatively similar. The round 2 one's a little different. We went from 1 out of 10 advancing in week 16 to 1 out of 16. So that changes a little bit. Obviously the huge change is the amount of money going to the regular season this year. A third of the prize pool is going to the regular season prize. Have you had a chance to think about this at all? Is it, changing your strategy in any meaningful way, or is this just business as usual?
I don't think it changes the strategy really that much. You're gonna make fun of me because this is like the heel turn bit has become reality.
Oh, I know what's coming. Yeah.
I do wish that it was a little flatter in week 17. Okay. I wish it was a little flatter. Look, make it $2,001. It can be higher than what I won. That's fine. But I wish that, 3rd through 10th paid out a little more evenly, going from 3 million to what is it? 300,000 in third. It's just a really big drop. But I don't see that we changed what we're doing, because even if you get third, that's 300,000. That's almost what you get by finishing first in the regular season. And I think there's more levers we can pull to try to finish first in a week 17 tournament than we can pull to basically hit the nuts for the entire regular season. So I still think the money that you want to chase, the more money's in week 17. The biggest prize by far is in week 17. The second biggest prize is in week 17. And I think we have more control over our ability to have a lineup that if a couple things go our way, vaults to the top of week 17. And I think that the field might not completely chase the week 17. And maybe partly because it is so top heavy, maybe that will make people play a little bit more for the regular season, which is I actually am a fan of the regular season payout stuff. Yeah. And and so it's like, well, that's why I'm like, I just wish the top prize was maybe a little smaller so that it was a little flatter. But I actually like that they reserved a bunch of money for regular season stuff because I think having people go, I don't know what to do here. Great. Why would we want to be in a contest where everyone's in agreement about what to do? I think it's fun if we all have to try and figure that out. Maybe we'll pick different things.
And I agree completely. I know, I think we can definitely nitpick kind of how the playoff money was distributed after the top 10. It just really falls off a cliff in kind of a devastating way. But as far as the ultimate purpose of this structure to make people question what they're optimizing for, they have succeeded. I have seen literal comments that say week 17 doesn't matter anymore. 2/3 of the prize pool going in week 17. And people say it doesn't matter right now. And that is the elegance, I think, of this structure is people now think that. And that was the hope, right? That you'd have people approaching this in a really different way. And I think that is going to make things fun, especially if people tighten up, if people don't push structural edges enough, if we see more 3 quarterback, 3 tight end builds because people are simply trying to finish in the top 10,000, which again, you have to remember that is still in the top, 1.5% of the contest to finish as a top 10,000 lineup. That's a hard thing to optimize for in itself.
It's very hard to optimize for. And I think you and I, we're kind of old guys in this industry now. We've seen some, I know you're fake young, but we've seen a couple of different transitions. One, DFS with the small field tournaments. And I kind of got in like at the tail end of like the small field tournament game. But even over the last couple, even I've noticed over the last 2.5 years, how much things have really shifted towards everyone using the same tactics, and everyone just the leveling of it's the game. The game is to not play the chalky stack. So the chalky stack that gets identified on Wednesday, basically everybody's off by the time lineups are actually locked. And, this is a best ball. People are paying a lot of attention, and I think it's getting more and more content's being created around best ball, and people they're waking up to these, the strategies and the tactics that are going to help them take down these tournaments. We do not want to be holding hands in total agreement with the field about what to do to win this tournament. So I mean, that's kind of where DFS has gotten a little bit. And I did not have a good year last year in small field DFS. And I don't know many people who did, because it's much tougher than it used to be.
Well, it's funny you say the hand holding, because the thing I immediately think of is when all the Cooper Cup teams were double tapping Mike Williams and Keenan Allen at the 2-3 turn, because we were all stacking up that week 17 game. It's like, that's the kind of stuff we need a structure to kind of, rid people of in their head.
Yes. Yeah. The other thing is that with, this whole wide receiver ADP thing, like, I kind of wish for the days when people thought that like going running back heavy, like repeatedly in the early rounds was sharp.
Right.
No one drafts like that on underdog anymore. And actually I did see tonight. I did see a draft like that. So maybe it's a good reason to draft early, but it's like there's, it's kind of like, be careful what you wish for a little bit with some of the stuff. Like if we got like the tournament that we maybe would prefer that's going to completely reward us for building for week 17, the rest of the field is going to build exactly like that too. And that's going to happen very quickly. That edge is going to disappear. So I'm actually, just to reiterate, I kind of like this whole regular season thing. I think it's good for us.
I do as well. One quick question here, because this is another comment that I think is very fair. Nez, shout out Badge Bros. Are you worried about losing EV drafting without a schedule?
Yes.
Of course, the NFL schedule isn't released yet. We know how important that is for optimizing for where all the money is. Do you think we can offset it with some maybe bad ADPs though right now? That would be my counter.
I think we can right now. I think that the ADP stuff is going to get taken away from us pretty quickly though. Like, because when you're in there, like I'm in there and I'm like, oh, I forgot about Mingo. I should have been, or whoever, right? But you're not gonna forget about them when they're sitting there on the ADP list. Enough people are remembering them that you're not gonna have to scroll way down to find the guys. And so I think by like Tuesday, the ADP is gonna be relatively kind of there. I mean, do you think it'll last longer than that? I'm worried it'll just be a couple days where you get these crazy values.
I think it's going to be a couple days on the really crazy ones. And then there'll be like guys we think are mispriced by a round and a half, but not by 5 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I want to sit that part out, or at least because I don't see am I getting a big advantage? When does the schedule get announced? It gets announced like relatively soon, right?
It should be in like the next week and a half or 2 weeks. I was looking at when it was last year. It's so weird that they don't have a date set for when the schedule comes out. At least last I looked, there was no official date for that. The NFL fucking schedules everything. How do we not have a date for this?
Because I mean, if like so when do we have our edges? I think there's an edge tonight for sure. Everybody's scrambling. I saw some weird teams built in my I think someone had 6 running backs and then they had 2 wide receivers through like 12 rounds or something. So yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. And I think that's helpful. But I think once this edge kind of disappears over the next day and a half or whatever, then that NFL schedule release, like if you're a week 17 minded drafter and not everyone is, they're especially not going to be on the very first day that the schedule's released. And you've like already, got a tool up or a Google sheet or something. And you're already trying to draft off the schedule on the very first day it's released. I mean, that strikes me as a pretty big edge within those draft rooms. Like you might be able to do a lot of like game stacking stuff that no one else is really even thinking about.
Yeah, and I've been doing these best ball tips. I've been posting them as YouTube shorts. A lot of you sickos are probably hip to a lot of the things where I'm already talking about, but for a lot of people who I know are getting into best ball for the first time, I think you would enjoy these tips. And one that I just made is how do we draft without the schedule, which is something we had to do for the big board, right? And I basically said there were kind of 2 things you could do, right? There's the one galaxy brain thing, which someone mentioned in the chat here, which was stacking up. Alan says it here, stack up the divisional teams as they're more likely to be playing each other in week 17. We know that to be true. So if you stack up your Bills, you have basically like a 1 in 3 chance of getting the bring back correct if you break ties in favor of divisional opponents.
And it's more than 1 in 3 if you think about it. It is 1 in 3 with you're also going to get you have outs for them to have week 16 matchups and
True.
week 15 matchups is what I'm trying to say. And you also, okay, let's say you strike out on those and you don't get a single week 15, 16, or 17 matchup. Well, guess what you did get? You got 2 matchups in the regular season. And so I do think that, that's one of the nice things about this regular season payout thing is that, if you knew that ahead of time, you might go, man, I'm not getting any game stacks. I'm just going to stack up my regular season stuff and hope this is one of those teams that just goes absolutely nuts. Because if you have a couple shootouts, interdivisional shootouts, and you game stack those essentially during the regular season, I mean, that could be pretty huge for you.
And that's exactly what Hayden is referencing here about how that correlates with the regular season prizes too. So yeah, I mean, same thing with all the week 17 stuff. If you're trying to find the Tyler Algier to your Zach Ertz, you want to be ADP conscious, but I think breaking
that almost worked. Isn't that amazing? It was just McBride. It was just McBride.
It was just McBride. The other tip I gave, and I had just reviewed over on the Deposit Kingdom YouTube channel. I did a new video. I think I have it pinned here in the chat. Anatomy of $1 million lineup. I looked at Pat's lineup and also King Capital, who won the regular season. And one thing that they shared in common too was the quote unquote unconventional stack of the quarterback with the running back. Pat had Daniel Dimes with Barkley, and King Capital had Miles Sanders with Jalen Hurts. And I think that's another thing you can lean into pre-schedule, where it's like, what is the correlation factors? We do know for a fact, barring injury, these teammates are going to be playing with each other in week 17. And I think if you want to maybe I don't want to say overdo it, but kind of lean into bigger team correlations pre-schedule release, that makes a lot of sense to me.
That's what I did. The one draft that I did so far, it was a Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley single stack, but I tacked on Tank Bigsby. And then I did Olave, grabbed Derek Carr. I grabbed actually Shaheed on that team. And then I grabbed Kendre Miller. So I'm like, obviously I didn't necessarily get the starters. We'll see. But, I think both those backs are talented. And I really liked having Saquon and Daniel Jones. I think there really is something to that with the regular season stuff. And King Cap talked about that in the video of he had Miles Sanders and it's like the Eagles, he had Jalen Hurts and the Eagles just rolled. And so he's scooping up all the points from the Eagles in most weeks. I also think there's something about the playoffs where I had Saquon Barkley help get me to the playoffs. And then he completely dudded in the final week. And he was really high owned in the final week. So having him dud was really good for me because I was able to get a low owned Raheem Mostert fill-in week at running back. And Daniel Jones exploded. He didn't hit my final lineup, but because he was slightly outscored by Tom Brady. But I think they would that was kind of pointed at something as a possibility. All
right. I have hopped into my first of 150 Best Ball Mania drafts, and Pat getting the influencer one. We're just fucking back, baby. We are back. We are back. We needed it. As I've mentioned a few times, I am going to be streaming every single one of my 150 drafts. So we will get the ticker here live. Not all of these will be on my channel. I bet on Ship Chasing Pat on Wednesday. I just have a hunch we might be drafting some Best Ball Mania teams. But before we get into that, Pat, what are we doing here? Who's the consensus 101?
I think it's Jefferson, right?
I think so. I think it's Jefferson. Let's do it.
I mean, we're taking a wide receiver in this room.
I know I'm seeing. Okay, we got Willis. We got JGFC. We got a few badges. DeMarca. Actually, maybe this room won't be too crazy. When I registered, there was maybe 5 people already in it. And then I did tip people off. If you guys are a YouTube member, Best Ball Value Hound here on the channel, one piece of utility of that YouTube membership, I will tip you guys off in the private channel in that Discord when I hop into drafts. So if you want to get into drafts with me, that's the best way to get the intel. But yes, Pat, there was no way we could risk a CMC start to this.
I can't believe you're doing this, dude. I can't believe you're doing this
on stream.
Yeah, not just 150 drafts on stream, but that if I was doing 150 drafts on stream, I would start the stream. I'd be like, I already entered it. You can't I would be like, I use sickos. I'd be dodging the sickos. You can watch it. You're not gonna be in it. I can't believe that you're like actually drafting against the people who are consuming best ball streams all summer. Like,
Well,
when's the earliest you're going to draft a running back? Round 7?
Here's the thing, Pat. I used to be very precious about this last year. I would get frustrated. I would do these tactics. I even did a few private streams where I just pre-recorded them just so I could get into a draft without people. And I was very precious about it. But then someone won Best Ball Mania 3. Now it just feels fully unattainable. And so I should just have fun because there's what micro
it should feel more
edge-
attainable. It's Liam and I have won it. Like
it feels less attainable. It feels totally
more
less attainable. I am still, of course, chasing Kerrane, but in my own special way.
It's like a ship chasing Superman thing you have going on. You take the hoodie down and chasing Kerrane underneath.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing too. But like all jokes aside, I will be streaming 150 of these. Might be on ship chasing, might be on fantasy life, splash play, yada yada. But I am excited for the drafts I'm not streaming. I want to do more of the high stakes, smaller tournaments. So I'm going to devote more of my bankroll to the big dogs, the bulldogs, the Dalmatians, etc. That's where I'm going to get my non-publicly streamed action, because I think, and it is another thing where we're all super excited for Best Ball Mania. I'm only half kidding. Like, people need to head into this contest with very open eyes about how much of a gauntlet and how massive this tournament is. And you really do need to approach it from, we can still be smart. We can do everything right. But you also need to know that this is an advanced lottery in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, your most likely outcome, even if you have a very good year, is that you're going to lose money in this tournament.
Right.
That's just the way this tournament is. It's a tournament that you're trying to take down and win the whole thing. And obviously there's some other really good prizes, but yeah, Liam's talked about this of maybe, doing some more high stakes stuff. I think it makes sense. I like, doing this tournament. I maxed this tournament last year, and then you do some stuff which is maybe at a similar price point, but it has a smaller final week. It's easier to get through, that type of thing. So,
yeah. I will say one thing, and I mentioned this at the top, that I'm so stoked that the final is even smaller than it was last year. Cause that's the one thing I keep saying too, of like,
that is nice.
Pat, and this feeling, cause you woke up on week 17 last year and you knew you had a sweat. And like last year it was what, 469 or 470. You knew I had a chance. I had a chance. David Kitchen woke up in week 17 in 1,000-person final, and that dude didn't have a chance. He just went on with his day, went to Dairy Queen, didn't even have a sweat. So keeping it at like 441, which it is this year, you wake up week 17 and you have a chance to win $3 million.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's a big field, but what I'll say is, like, I didn't like put too much thought in it until stuff started to happen, but then it starts to feel pretty real. What are you thinking here?
I mean, me, I just want to piss. But if there's anything else you're seeing,
I'd be good with Smith or Higgins, and then I think maybe grabbing one of like Jacobs or Chubb could be good.
Yeah, definitely not Walker. Let's grab Smith.
Definitely not Walker.
Let's grab Smith. Yeah, I would be fine with Chubb.
Did Pollard go?
Yeah, did he? No. Oh yeah. Oh wow. He went at the 1-2 turn. Holy cow.
Wow.
Someone's not scared to do so.
Ramondre's the other guy that's kind of interesting at running back.
Yeah.
But I would also do T if you just want to piss.
Let's just piss, Pat. I mean, come on. The original piss boys not kicking off Best Ball Mania pissing. I mean,
I know.
We'll just have to. I mean, we were talking, I think, was it briefly before the show? It all blends together. But like, Kenneth Walker here has to slide how much?
I mean, I think he's like a 5th round value.
Yeah. I think.
Honestly, dude, he might be more like a 6th round value.
If that's your take, I mean, that means Zach Charbonnet for you is getting what, 10 to 12 touches right out of the gate, and those are pretty high value touches as well.
Well, maybe not, but he's a real threat to force like a full-blown committee by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And like, why am I taking a guy in like the 4th or 5th round if that's like a very live pass. They took him with a second round pick. They took Zach Charbonnet with a second round pick. What do they take Kenneth Walker with? A second round pick. Kenneth Walker, and you know who hasn't finished second worst in the entire NFL in success rate? Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet hasn't done that. Kenneth Walker did do that last year. So I think it's a problem for Kenneth Walker that he's a super, super boom bust rusher who doesn't catch any passes at all. And that all they're talking about with Charbonnet is his versatility. Can catch passes. We're going to have him, we're rotating him in on third downs. By the way, Carroll mentioned like DJ Dallas like 8 times in a press conference. So that's not great either.
And then drafted Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah. So like, I think it's like, not that Walker's talented. He's a awesome breakaway rusher, but like the awesome breakaway rusher guys are often committee runners because their coaches want to be able to lean on a guy who they can trust to like pick up the yardage that's there, you know? Yeah. So last year he was like an 80% snap guy. He still didn't catch many passes. I mean, I always thought his ADP was really quite terrible. In like the end, that 2-3 turn, I'll look up what I had in the big board, but it was not a lot. So he probably won't fall enough.
Yeah, I mean, he goes pick 34 here, so it's going to take a while. I do agree that I think drafters will continue to kind of push him down. Where he ultimately settles, though, I just don't think draft rooms are going to like let him out of the out of the fourth round. Ultimately,
you're probably right. Yeah, I took Walker one time in the big board at a 60 something. So at a 60 drafts, I took him once. I just didn't really get it.
Are there any of these other, I guess it would be running backs, right, that are maybe not baking in a backfield mate? We both like Izzy Abandakanda here, Breece Hall. You see Travis Etienne go. I've seen some Tank Bigsby love saying that Etienne is overvalued. Anything else we should be worried about here?
I think Etienne's overvalued because he wasn't catching passes. So, you know, it's one thing if you're dealing with a new addition and you can catch passes, not that Etienne can't, but if you've got that, then it's like, all right, you got to cede touches to somebody occasionally. But I think Bigsby's talented, so I don't love it. But you know, I don't think he should fall too far. It's just like, I wouldn't take Etienne above Ramondre Stevenson. He went after him here. Where he went here, I think is probably fine. I don't think it's like a huge issue for Etienne. There was absolutely no backup there. It was like Jermichael Hasty or something, right? So, you know, he's not going to play 100% of snaps. No running back does. So I don't think his stock takes a huge hit, but it's just sort of a reminder. Hey, this guy doesn't catch passes. Now has like a potentially very talented backup running back behind him. That's not great. Abandakanda is maybe, I think it's the Gibbs stuff that's maybe the bigger issue for Breece Hall, where I was pretty optimistic about his recovery, but if they were seriously considering taking Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, that's like a huge red flag for Breece Hall's health.
Yeah, and I guess we're now fully believing that report. That's been corroborated enough that we think that was legit.
Yeah, it came from Brugler. He's usually pretty good. I don't know. I mean, it's just I have a lot of Breece Hall from the early drafts, and I think maybe I will wait and take it easy, especially if he's now going to be in the second round.
Yeah.
And then I'll see, like, I'm going to wait for some more optimistic news. At least as someone who has already invested pretty heavily in Breece Hall, I think I can afford to do that.
Yeah. Did Gibbs go? I don't believe Gibbs has gone yet. I definitely don't. I mean, these guys are all, I mean, Najee's going where he was in the big board, but like Jones, Sanders, Cook are all.
Is this the top of the board?
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
This is awful.
Yeah. I do like Gibbs. I do think Gibbs is by far like the best running back
Gibbs.
pick. Anything else you're?
I would do Terry McLaurin. I mean,
yeah,
it's not sexy, but like he's the number one wide receiver there.
Yeah, let's do Gibbs here, man. I took a peek on Sean's post, and I hate to even say this because it's going to get very steamy, but Sean's take on Gibbs is he shouldn't leave the third round in best ball drafts.
Wow. I love Sean, but I don't agree with that. I mean, Gibbs profile the whole way was like he's going to be probably like the type of guy who emerges in his second year, because he's one of these dudes who's like, McCaffrey is actually a very close comp now that he has such high draft capital. But even McCaffrey didn't do it until his year 2,
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to the Lions, who've been rotating the running backs, and like clearly they can lose faith in a guy if he's not doing what he's supposed to do and running the way he's supposed to run. So, no one thinks Swift isn't talented, right? So they can fall out of love. So, and Montgomery, I think, is like a guy coaches are going to trust at the very least. So, I want to have Swift. Gibbs. I hope Sean doesn't push him. Don't push him to third. Not the third, Sean. Let us have
we got to allow Sean to have a little fun hyperbole here. Shout out to Trevor, who says, forcing my girlfriend to watch this with me. Little does she know all my money will soon be donated to having pretty colored boards filled with orange. Shout out and apologies, Trevor, to your girlfriend. Thank you, guys. It sounds like you're having a lovely Saturday evening together.
Have you seen?
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I bet so. Ben Cummins is in the Legendary Upside Discord, which I recommend jumping in for anyone to sign. By the way, a few people signed up, which is awesome. So thank you guys for signing up. Jump in the Discord, and you'll be able to see Ben Cummins has been sharing printouts of his teams, paper printouts.
He did this last year, didn't he? I think he.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's a very wholesome activity. It's like a super old school thing. I absolutely love it. It's like,
so you can review that with your girlfriend if you want. Print out your teams and show them to her.
It's like a throwback to when I was in third grade collecting, baseball cards, and you'd have them in the sleeves and you'd reorganize them and all of this stuff. It's like, he's just doing that with your best ball. That would okay. Here's a free business idea for you guys. Someone create a trading card thing where you upload the CSV and it spits out like really cool, like cardboard trading cards of each one of your teams. And it says like the 0 RB on it with like a player. And then on the back, your full draft, like the ADP value you got on it. People would buy the shit out of that.
If NFTs were still a thing, we could make NFTs of our team, and then if you won, it's like I have an NFT of this winning team.
Yeah, there you go. They were
going to change the world. Whatever happened to that? Did they not change the world? That's a shame.
Shout out to Clayton, signed up as a member for this channel and leg upside. Now, this is the rare, you normally go legendary upside or leg up. This is the weird leg upside tonight.
Leg upside, yeah.
That sounds like an OnlyFans. Yeah.
Huh. Leg upside.
There you go. Let's see here. All right. I feel like, here's the thing, guys. I mean, I'm excited to draft. This draft room's going a little slow right now. I mean, if I'm getting in 150 of these here before September, we're going to need to pick up the pace a little bit here, guys.
Yeah, it's I'm getting a little tired.
There you go. I'm trying to see here. One thing that, I'm pretty sure we all knew was going to happen, but I still was like, maybe we'll see. Will all of this early quarterback love carry over from big board season into Best Ball Mania? And that seems to be a definitive yes, with Josh Allen going 15, Mahomes 17, Jalen Hurts 18. Are you having any sticker shock with these elite QBs, or do you think this is just the prices we're going to have to pay?
No, I am. I don't think it's very good.
All of them collectively, or any in particular?
I think that, if you're taking a guy in the second round like Mahomes, and someone's getting Lamar Jackson in the fourth, that's not very good for you. I think it's Lamar Jackson's going to have more passing attempts, better weapons. Is Mahomes definitely a better fantasy quarterback than Lamar Jackson? I think price suggested you definitely want Jackson. And then I think Anthony Richardson being very likely to start a lot of games this year is not good for your second round Hurts, Allen, and Mahomes shares. I'm just like, it is actually still a fairly big tournament in week 17, and you need to finish first. Like, you need to finish first. So not that, if Jalen Hurts is the guy, then you're going to need to have him probably. But you could also have A.J. Brown. Like, you could go like A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and, go with a later quarterback like an Anthony Richardson. And or a pocket passer who has a good week 17, maybe not quite as good as Hurts, but you still captured some of the upside of Hurts or whatever, So I think if you're trying to take down that week 17 tournament, it's like these guys are now in DFS, like they're like 8,000 or something. They're very in DraftKings, and that might be a pretty niche reference, but it makes it tough.
All right, we are on the clock here. Pacheco's
Is
a guy who
Addison available? Who's maybe a little early for him, but with the
he's available. I think that's a little early for him.
A little early, maybe. Okay.
I mean,
actually,
I definitely
think it's early, but it might be.
Do you have any?
I would do Pacheco.
That's who I was floating. I mean, I've never been the huge Pacheco guy, but man, this draft was beautiful for him.
The reason I'm saying Addison is because we have Jefferson, so it's like we do like this. They're like a Seattle situation. We just get
but based on the ADPs, I just feel like that's pretty rich for a guy whose upside is like fully capped here. Like you prefer like Addison to Burks and Tony, and
I prefer him to Tony, I think, but and just because we have the correlation, but you can always talk me into Burks.
All right, let's just do Burks here, only because, and maybe now not because we've talked about him a bunch, but
he probably won't come back.
I feel like Addison I think his ADP is never going to get this high.
Okay. You're probably right.
Ethan says he got Addison at 102. If anyone else has any other data points on ADPs, I should also mention, speaking of data points, for those of you guys in the Deposit Kingdom Discord, within the Badge Bros, there is a thread collection going on for BBM4 boards. Lee starts to put together some sheets with kind of some manual data. And so the more sample size, the better. So if you guys are in the Deposit Kingdom Discord and you guys want to post your screenshots, go to the Badge Bros, click the threads, look for the one that says saved BBM4 draft boards, and that'll help us get some more data on this. Neil's with you. Neil says he thinks Addison's ADP does rise that much. Man, I love Addison. I just don't.
It's like Devontae Smith a couple years ago. Didn't he go on the 7th?
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't Devontae Smith a better prospect than Addison?
I mean, I don't think so.
You don't?
Addison won the Biletnikoff, and he's a 3-year player, and he's small, but Devontae Smith's small too. They have the same red flag. And I don't know. I mean, to me, like in a best ball tournament, having the downfield, because the thing I like about Addison is he's downfield and intermediate. He's not an underneath guy. It's not the Josh Downs thing where you're like, oh, I don't know if he's going to stretch the field, and he's tiny.
Yeah.
So I think he's like it's a fun double stack. It's a very fun double stack.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree that it's fun. I guess I just probably don't want to be like reaching for it. But if he does end up settling there, then that's fine. Although we're getting some data points here, 105, 95.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's available later, then you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say, so a question in the chat of, did Addison win the Heisman? No, but he didn't. Devontae Smith didn't win the Heisman until he stayed for his senior year. That's so generally, we prefer to have their production while they're in the NFL.
And we know how well awards correlate with fantasy production. Just think about all those motherfucking Mackey awards. Yeah.
Who's the guy on the Browns that's a motherfucking Mackey Award winner? Harrison Bryant.
Oh, was he? Jeez,
I think he won the motherfucking Mackey Award.
I assume that's how just like Silva Goes to Bed is just like on the Wikipedia page for the Mackey Award, just kind of scrolling through.
He has Google alerts set up for the Mackey Award winners.
By the way, I did just post a clip on the Ship Chasing account of Silva's appearance on our draft stream the other night. Just absolute comedy gold. Recommend checking that out.
That's amazing.
All right. For the audio listeners who I have promised to service all summer long, we have 0 QB, 0 tight ends here through, 7 picks. We have Jahmyr Gibbs and Pacheco at running back, and our wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Treylon Burks. Pretty fun team so far. Be interesting to see what we're able to do at quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I'll put some in the private chat.
Yeah, we're just airing it all out. I mean, this
Oh,
is
airing it out.
this is
Yeah.
setting up for me to get you to draft Sam Howell. I think is
What
is where
round are we
this is
coming up
headed.
on?
The
God,
8-9
Sam
turd.
Sam Howell's is like a horrendous pick in one quarterback leagues.
Oh
It's,
God,
it's,
here
just,
we
it's,
go.
just, it's a horrible pick.
Here we go.
Didn't we just learn? Addison goes, damn. Didn't we learn this? Didn't we learn our lesson with Trey Lance?
I haven't learned my lesson for Trey Lance.
There's no payoff. There's no payoff. There's no payoff to Howell. The payoff is your team isn't dead. Just take quarterbacks who don't have job security issues because most of the time they're not, especially pocket passers. I mean, come on.
All of these running backs are going higher than where they were in the first big board.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tyler Algier should be like a.
Did someone
he's a
not watch the
handcuff.
draft? I don't think they watched the draft. Holy cow, JGFC, Tyreek, Waddle, Hopkins, Drake London, Pitts, Ayuk, Dotson, Addison. Dude,
He built
saves
like
for
this in the
Pitts.
draft I was in with him earlier. He built like 7. He was like a 7 wide receiver before his first running back or something.
I think JGFC might be the snitch to David Kitchen, who posted my Jake Ferguson mega reach.
I mean,
I just didn't know he was just on a texting basis with David Kitchen, but it all
he is
adds
one.
up.
He is when he's snitching on you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Charbonnet sitting there. We will no Tua for us here. Do we want to just get Kirk with one of these two picks?
Yeah. And then I actually think Charbonnet's pretty interesting still. And then I would also say Khalil Herbert survived the draft pretty well. But see, why not? Why isn't Charbonnet more interesting than Herbert? So then I think
I think Charbonnet is more interesting than Herbert, and I would maybe push back a little bit that he didn't fully survive it with Rashaad Johnson.
He didn't, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not quite as high on like Roshan's whole deal is he's such a good pass protector, and then like maybe you parlay that into some production, but I don't know. It just strikes me like, okay, you're going to be part of a 3-way committee because Herbert's really good. Herbert is like a pretty talented early down runner, and Foreman's a pretty talented early down runner. And Johnson's like a fine early down runner. He's not explosive. That's the big thing. He's like elusive, but he really did not do like a lot of long runs. So he's fine. He's kind of like Alexander Madison type. That's like the guy that pops into my mind archetype wise. But I think he landed a pretty bad situation. Alexander Madison on the Bears would not be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess if you're thinking roles based, it's probably more likely Roshan eats into Deontay Foreman stuff than Khalil Herbert's.
I think Khalil Herbert and I think it's gonna be gross the more I think about it because I think Foreman and Herbert are kind of redundant, but they might rotate, and then Johnson's like going to be coming in on passing downs, but they're not going to throw the running back much, so it's going to be like a lot of like kind of empty passing down snaps for him. And then it's a 3-way. We can deal with a 2-man backfield, Pete.
Yeah,
but we can't deal with a 3-man backfield.
Oh man, I can't wait to dust off some of these biblical best ball phrases that get uttered all season long. My guy Bonesaw here asking, did we talk about Swift on the Eagles? We did briefly mention how my thought was Swift and Penny are going to be this year's Penny and Kenneth Walker, where you just want to be targeting one of each of them at their prices in most drafts if you can get them there. Where did Swift end up going? He went pick 71 here in the 6th round, and Rashaad Penny went at 95. So not a huge discount, 6th round and 8th round.
I think the issue with both guys is that they were going like probably higher than we want to take them at now, but you can talk yourselves into the upside. Like, I guess I'm saying it for whatever reason, Swift was like a 15th round pick before this. He'd probably be like a 12th round pick now, or maybe he'd be like a 9th round pick now. But because he was like a 6th round pick, it's gonna take him a while to fall. Because I think he should fall a little bit from where he was, don't you?
Yeah, I do. The problem is like Eagles enthusiasm is just not going to let us get ultimately a really good discount on either of these. I mean, you saw what happened to Rashaad Penny. I mean, Rashaad Penny vaulted up, 8 rounds, just like within the blink of an eye from from a free agent to signing with the Eagles. And people didn't even historically like Rashaad Penny. Like everyone calls him glass. Like the market traditionally doesn't like him. And they're like, Eagles, a little bit of money could legitimately get cut. Doesn't matter. We're drafting him. So even with Swift, it's like the same thing. It's like, oh, the guy who's hurt, who hasn't paid off his draft costs like every single year, but it's the Eagles. So we're all back in again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing for me with Penny is that like he perfectly fits like what we want out of that backfield. Like he's a pure 2-down guy, but they're not going to throw their running backs very much. Not just that Hurts is mobile, it's that he throws downfield. Yeah. So Swift's explosive, but he's not a very consistent rusher, and he struggles between the tackles. So I'm worried he might just be like fancy Kenny Gainwell. As much as I like Swift, it's not an ideal situation for him. We want to have him go like the Chiefs. So the Chiefs would be the dream spot, right?
Bengals would have been super, super good.
Bengals would be amazing. Yeah.
Somewhere that actually checks down to the running back in a good offense.
Yeah. And looks to get the running back involved.
Yeah.
In, underneath stuff. They don't really look to do that much.
Yeah. In the chat talking about Gainwell too, who is going to be free. Gainwell will be free going forward. I feel pretty confident about that.
Anthony Richardson, I was hoping we could take
Pat, I was on Richardson watch for you. I was like, Woody, and of course Willis wasn't going to let that happen.
Damn it, Willis.
I'm trying to think. No other obvious stacks here for us as far as these quarterbacks.
No.
Running back. Kenneth Gainwell's ADP is still way up here. Spears or A-Chain?
I don't mind like going with Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson. Brian Robinson probably a little bit better.
Let's do the McLaurin Richardson.
Yeah, we've got the McLaurin and we have an Eagle, right? We have Devontae Smith, so maybe we get lucky there. I don't see much else here. What do you see?
Yeah,
nothing to tight end. Boyd, Lazard, Jones.
Man,
I don't really see anything.
Should we do?
What about running back?
We got 5 seconds.
Foreman's fine.
No. All right.
What about 8?
Sorry, we ran out of time. The first time out of the season.
Did A-Chain go? A-Chain probably was the pick there.
I had mentioned A-Chain earlier. He's down here.
That was the pick.
There you go. This is why you draft with the idiot streamers in their first BBM4 draft. So you get us misclicking. This was a gross range because this is the part of the draft where the ADP is like still yet to really fully settle, right? Because we're going to get these rookies pushing up. We're going to get the Foremans and the fucking Mostert sliding down.
Yep.
No one ever checked the CLV that we get on this Raheem Mostert pick. No one checked that.
No one checked that. This is going to be very bad. So what's our running back room now?
Our running back room, we now have a 1-5-5 build.
I think we're
Kirk Cousins,
done.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, Zach Charbonnet, Brian Robinson, Raheem Mostert. Our wide receivers are Jefferson, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Treylon Burks, and no tight ends yet.
I think we're done at running back, aren't
we? Maybe one more, but definitely not more than 6. Because we're at, let's see.
Yeah, we could do one more.
Yeah. I still have to get, I still have 20 round brain right now. Because I'm normally like, oh, this could be like a 3 tight end build, but I'm like, probably not.
No, it could be, but we'd probably want to skip on that extra running back, I guess.
Quarterback
is and Robinson. I feel like maybe we might be okay with the early weeks.
Yeah. Hey, this is the kind of stuff I said, don't tell me that you took Mostert.
Don't tell us. We just
this is, I told Pat to I was mad at Pat for taking his 2 million off the ecosystem. And I said, what's a way we could kind of give back to the people tonight? And he said, what if we just have kind of like a shitty pick at the beginning?
Yeah. Why don't we just pick the guy who got replaced?
Yeah, exactly. We'll be doing another draft after this, so we'll get a little redemption. And someone mentioned this, dude. And you know what? I'm having a great time hanging out with you guys. Best Ball Mania 4. I don't got anywhere to go, but this is a fucking slow draft right now.
This is a pretty slow draft.
This is like a snail's pace. Is everybody multi-tabling right now? Or you guys just have your feet up on your desk?
They're
just making a
multi-tabling.
meal? They're multi-tabling.
They totally are.
Yeah.
Nick asking about Chase Brown. He was a tough one for me. I don't actually think Chase Brown's that good of a prospect. And he was drafted fairly late. Well, it was the 5th round, right? And he's athletic, but he's like kind of he's kind of old. His production profile was like very similar to Sean Tucker's, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Tucker went undrafted because of a medical issue, not because of his production profile. But I don't know. It's just like he was a good pass blocker, actually. There's a couple people in the Discord pointed out that he was quite good as a pass blocker, second to Rashaad Johnson in the class. And so if your thesis is he gets on the field as a third down guy and then carves out more from there, and then also you obviously have the massive upside of maybe Mixon getting cut or whatever. He's interesting, but I don't know. I'm struggling with him, but I do think he's a good target right now, especially since he's not steamed up yet.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, with our current structure, we have, we
can't take him.
We've excluded ourselves from being able to take the fun running back dart throws. We're going to have to find the fun tight end dart throws. I'm actually never worried about tight end. I do think we're in kind of a precarious position with quarterback, right? Like, where are we finding some quarterbacks with upside that I guess we have some backdoor stacks we could do, but it's not too pretty right now.
Yeah. Who just went? Russell Wilson just went. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
No, I think
Mingo.
we're all right.
Yeah, we'll survive.
Oh, Mingo just went?
Mingo.
I was going to suggest Mingo and Bryce Young.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Thank you, Matt, for the tip. Matt sending in $25 because I timed out. Thank you for paying for this entry. If we could just keep this up, if someone could donate $25 every stream, I could theoretically free roll BBM in exchange for being a disaster while drafting on stream.
For punting it off?
Yeah. All right, we are going to have to figure this out here. Man, yeah, we could have. I actually don't mind Dulcich here, Pat. Do you still have any love for Dulcich?
They just traded for Troutman. I don't actually am not that into Dulcich. What about
should we take
Marvin
Bryce
Mims?
Young?
I would take Bryce Young, yeah.
Let's see. Let's get Bryce Young.
Did Marvin Mims go?
Mims is still available.
He'll go. I mean, he's a 2nd round pick, and we're talking.
This
about
is another one where I'd be
round.
like, I think we could get him later, and everyone in the chat's gonna be like, I got him in the 7th round of my first draft. But
once Mingo goes, yeah, fine. But like, I mean, everyone, that's the whole reason to draft tonight. But like, you don't have to. I don't know. Not in this room. We not Mingo just went. People got all the rookies starred.
Pat wins $2 million by being very ADP conscious, and then he comes on here and is just like, fucking live a little, man. Take Marvin Mims. Why? Fine. I'll allow this question, Neil, but it doesn't make me happy. What are Pat's thoughts on where Lance should go? I'm going to plug my ears, but go ahead.
I'm not sure he should be drafted.
God damn it, Pat.
I'm not sure he should be drafted. I mean,
I knew that was coming.
I did research last year on like win rates for rookie quarterbacks, guys like Josh Allen. And it was pretty rough. Like you need in an 18-round draft where it's optimal to have 2 quarterbacks. Even like Leone's research showing, okay, you're stacking up all your quarterbacks. You're game stacking 3 quarterbacks. You've got, not just stacks, but bringbacks on 3 different quarterbacks, is it better to have two or 3? It's better to have 2. So, all right, if it's optimal to have 2, I'm spending one of those on a guy who I'm not sure is starting to start the year. I'm not sure when he will be starting. I'm pretty sure he's not starting at the end of the season. Maybe he gets traded, but then is he starting there? Like, the payoff at quarterback is not very big. The spike weeks aren't as big as the other positions in terms of how much they distance themselves from, their peers. And we don't take a lot. We take the least amount. It's better to take 3 tight ends than 3 quarterbacks in a lot of cases. So I don't know. I mean, look, so you want to talk about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had 0 job security issues last year. To me, it's like, if I can get a guy in the 13th, 14th round range who I think has some rushing upside and has job security, hell yeah, let's do that. I don't mind a 3 quarterback build. I think it can be fine. But I do think like 2, the research shows that 2 is probably the plan A in any given draft. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of Trey Lance still in Dynasty. Like, I don't want him to be dust, but it's just like, it's just a lot of risk to take on for the lowest payoff position in the game.
I can't stomach this conversation, so let's all gang up on Adam Thielen. Patrick Sullivan says, why not Adam Thielen instead of Mims? I mean, Adam Thielen's ADP is absurd. Like, give me almost every other pass catcher on Carolina over Adam Thielen. Like, I'm taking DJ Chark over Adam Thielen. Are you?
I would, yeah, much rather have Adam Thielen. You can't pay someone to be young.
No. I don't get the Adam Thielen ADP whatsoever. I think he should be like a 17th, 18th round dart throw to like backdoor stack with Bryce Young if you want.
Yeah, he's like drafting Allen Robinson before he got traded to the Steelers. Like, if you had a Stafford thing and you like want to attack on Allen Robinson in the last round, you could do that. I mean, that also wouldn't have worked, but.
Consigliere, can someone explain why we're taking tight ends at all? Only one or only stacks is only thing that makes sense. I mean, I think you're probably lighting your teams on fire if you're taking one that's not Travis Kelce. I do agree with you in that I love to correlate my tight ends when possible. But another benefit is the same reason that the quarterbacks in the finals are having the 3 quarterback stuff is shown to be smart with the stacks, is because you can get a differentiated tight end into the finals. And because it's such a low scoring position, is if you have a unique tight end that scores the 2 touchdown game, that is a huge differentiator for you. So I know it's a shitty position, but it doesn't mean we can just like ignore it.
Yeah. And it's huge leverage if you get one of those scores. So.
But I do generally agree, like, especially with like the Dawson Knoxes and Cole Kmets of the world, like I really prefer to have those guys stacked with the quarterback.
We're not going to have any stack with Bryce Young, which is pretty brutal.
Well, there is a guy. There is a guy.
That guy.
Asta.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you.
Hasta la 18th round, Pat. We could revisit this.
Even this room won't snipe us on him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on with people with this draft. I mean, just a total snail's pace here, guys.
They're just starring all the rookies. I mean, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, all off the board. Mingo went. We're not getting any of the big values here.
I know.
So
I'm looking
pull up our board here so we can see.
Yeah, I was looking at your rookie big board to see if there was anyone we were missing. I'm surprised Willis didn't stack up his Anthony Richardson with Alec Pierce. I do like Alec Pierce.
So I actually would go Dulcich now.
At this price, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat, you successfully fudded him down like 30 picks past ADP.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Let's get him. And then we could also just go Mayer, who is a pretty good blocker and I think could be the number 2? They got Myers, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, let's get Dulcich.
Let's do Dulcich. And what do you think about the Alec Pierce?
I don't mind Alec Pierce.
Yeah,
we had Anthony Richardson for the correlation.
I know, but we got to make Willis pay for taking Singletary over him. All right. Our team, so we have 3 more picks. We're at a 2-5-7-1. We got Kirk Cousins and Bryce Young. Running backs, Gibbs, Pacheco, Charbonnet, Brian Robinson, Raheem Mostert. Wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Traylon Burks, Mims, Alec Pierce, tight end, Greg Dulcich. We're probably... So we got 3 more picks. One of them is for sure going to be a tight end.
Yeah.
And then I do think we could go basically either quarterback, running back, wide receiver with 2 of the last 3.
Yep. We should not go 3 tight end, 3 quarterback, I think.
Agreed.
Do we have any stacks built in? We can't go with the Titan. So, like, I'm not taking Tannehill and I'm not really taking Levis because I just...
Hayden Hurst. Does Hayden Hurst get on the board with
I don't
Bryce
think
Young?
so. I think it's almost too cute. Like, it's... They're going to do a rotation. Hayden Hurst stinks.
Yeah. I think.
Someone asked about.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to go on a rant about blocking, because someone in the chat said, do we get points for blocking in BBM? And when I brought it up about Mayer, but I have a different view on tight ends than I think maybe a lot of people. Or like a lot of people like the kind of the big wide receiver, like the Dalton Kincaid style, and I think that's definitely cool, especially when he's on the Bills. But I think the fact that we're betting on a rookie tight end, we would like him to block well because, tight ends tend to block on run plays. It's not that they're blocking on pass plays. This isn't like max protect, like old school. You're only sending out 2 guys out on a route and the tight end staying in the block. It's that they're out there blocking on run plays. So it's snaps. And it's, Leland just put it. Blocking gets you snaps. It gets you snaps and it gets you play action. It gets you, you're in on the goal line. It might get you goal line targets off a play action play. Play action are also pretty efficient. Passing plays is also a lot of times when you might be targeting a tight end. Little post route from the tight end position on a play action, roll out to that side. So I think I want a guy who's a good blocker. And it's not that I need a guy. Sam Laporta is a terrible blocker. Kincaid's not a very good blocker. It's not they have to be, but Mayer is a like Jason Witten, Greg Olsen, like that's his archetype. And the fact that he's a good blocker, I think, is important because he needs all the snaps that he can get. He's not particularly explosive. He's just like a solid receiver who's going to play inline tight end.
Yeah, Liam, Kincaid FUD turning out. Yeah, Liam, I think had a tweet thread about how he's targeting both Kincaid and Knox, and I think it was round 7 and 8 was kind of his.
Yeah, we were all shocked to hear. Liam posts a video, and it's like, so Bills draft tight end. I'm going to draft that tight end. And as your Bills expert, I can tell you also take Knox. You're going to take Knox as well because he also still does play for the Bills. So I'll be drafting both. See you guys later.
There you go. Liam, I believe.
Hell of a video.
I believe Liam will be streaming tomorrow at noon. I think I saw on Twitter. If you want to hear some, did the Bills draft any other skill position players in this draft? Did they take a running back flyer?
I don't think so.
They did. Okay. All right. There you have it. All right. So we have, Andy says that we started a draft after you guys finished. I know. I'm telling you, man, everyone's really getting, it's no one's jumping in cannonball style to the BBM4. It's like they touch their toe and they're like, ooh, that's cold. Let me just kind of slowly get in there. No one's just blasting off right now.
Oh, Liam's right. They took some like really raw receiver prospect.
Justin Shorter, was that his name?
Justin Shorter, yeah. But he's actually kind of big.
There you go. You see, someone says there's a photo of him that I need to see. Okay. All right. Here's the photo. We got time for this. This is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Liam's in.
Does Liam have a Twitter thread about this guy being a 12th round value right now? I just feel like he has to. Yeah. There you go. There it is.
Someone should just post his RAS profile over this.
All right, Bindles. We'll indulge your dynasty question here. Pat, OTC in a rookie draft, are you taking? I assume this is Charbonnet or Etienne. It's Charbonnet, right?
It's Charbonnet for me.
Yeah. That's one where you're probably like, yes, do you like the landing spot for Etienne more? But you're probably going to regret that in a couple of years if you make that pick solely based on a landing spot.
Well, one thing to think about is like, in Dynasty, you get sell windows and stuff. So, and sell windows are, then it's not like, some Dynasty leagues only have certain weeks where you're allowed to trade, but most you can trade a lot of different times. And it's the Seahawks, man. If Kenneth Walker misses like 2 games, they're going to lean on Charbonnet. And then he's probably going to look pretty good because I think he's pretty good. So you get like, oh my God, this dude's a potential superstar if they ever lean on him. And everyone gets excited. Like, first of all, I think he's got a higher weekly ceiling for that reason than Etienne, who's going to have to rely on big plays. Because he's 188 pounds. He's never getting like a workhorse treatment. He's kind of like Tevin Coleman or something, Yeah. And that's like, if he hits.
Jaden Reed goes here 164. Does that feel too rich to you?
No.
Yeah.
I hope it's correlated because he's going to play in the slot. They talked a lot how he can play on the outside as well and how tough he is, but he's undersized and they have Dobbs and Christian Watson, and so he'll be a slot receiver, I think, to start. So yeah. I think it's fine in the late rounds if it's correlated, but I'm not targeting him if I don't have Love.
Oh man, Sam Howell just fits his team so perfectly. That I won't do it. I can't just bring a guest on and just, make a pick that I'll have plenty of times this summer to get my Sam Howell exposure. But I do feel like we should get a third QB.
I'm okay with the third QB, and I've got an idea.
Okay, I want to hear an idea.
Can you go to wide receiver?
Yeah.
Can we can afford another wide receiver?
Yeah. We'll just end up with a 2 tight end. Is
Thornton available?
Taekwon? No,
yeah.
He went.
Shit.
He went. I was looking at him.
Because I was going to suggest Mac Jones and Taekwon.
Yeah.
Mac Jones has got job security, right? They didn't bring in anybody.
I hope so. Minus.
I guess Sappy, maybe. I don't know. What's going
on? What
about
Will Levis? Do we do Will Levis late season?
I don't think so. I think
let's do it. All right, sorry, Pat. I panicked.
All right, just do it. Yeah, just do it.
We're getting the stack.
We got to go 3 now, though. I think we should go 3 tight ends and stick with the 2 quarterbacks.
Okay.
Because we got the correlation with it now. Can we go Laporta? Is my guy Laporta still there?
Yeah.
Let's go Laporta.
All right. We are living a little tonight. Laporta. So we have 2, 5, 7, 3. If we go 2 quarterbacks, so I think we could still go. I think we should probably go a 6th running back. Honestly,
I'm good with that.
Especially if Mostert is a burned pick. I mean, and Pat, you won $2 million burning one of your picks on a dead Dolphins running back. So that seems like a good omen.
That's the way. That actually is one of the edges. Is that if you burn a pick on a dead Dolphins running back, for some reason that helps you.
It was funny. I was getting the video, the Anatomy of $1 Million lineup wrapped up, and my editor Diego was doing like a final quality control check, and he's like, "Oh, I think I need you to re-record a part. You say that Pat took 2 Dolphins running backs, but it was 1 Dolphins running back." I was like, "No, when Pat drafted him, he intended it to be a Dolphins running back, which it was at the time, and then it quickly changed there." Yeah. So that it is always funny when you see Sony Michel there, and you're like, "Oh yeah, he was a Dolphin for a hot minute."
I tried to hit a single.
Yeah.
And I did hit a single. I took 2 guys to get 1 job, and it worked. But I did take Mostert first, and so I didn't have to take Michelle.
Yeah.
I already had hit the single. I could have gone somewhere else.
Fantasy Football Garage, my new scheme, 2582 is standard 17-8 picks. Then you get 1+ wild card. Yeah, you call it 1+ wild card. I call it 1+ timeout. I like to draft with 1 hand behind my back. All summer long, I'll be drafting 17 picks and 1 will be auto drafted.
Chuba Hubbard was a guy I was hoping would come back to us.
Yeah, Chuba would have made a ton of sense with our Carolina bet, and we probably should have taken him over Laporta. Actually, not because I don't like Laporta. We would have been able to get him, I think.
Yeah, we definitely should have. Well, Laporta shouldn't be available in the very last round, right? He's a pass catching tight end, landed on a completely empty tight end roster that on a team that might pass a lot, good offense, and he went in the early second round. He was the second tight end drafted.
Yeah, no, I like the Laporta pick. Yes, I like this idea. Pat says, what I like to do when I burn a pick is write that pick down on a small piece of paper and light it on fire in one of those lantern things. This is kind of like from the Ben Cummins school of, how you think about your Best Ball Mania portfolio.
I love this. I love it.
Yeah, let's get it more.
You
to
put it out on a lake?
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
you float it out into the water?
Yeah.
We should do that.
Vaporware, there's a lot going on in the chat. I didn't see your Zach Evans question. I'm sorry. I want to mention something right now. We are going to hop into another draft in a second. I see some of you guys who are new subscribing to the channel. Similar to how the Swolecast has our road to 10K goal, I have recently decided I have a goal to get to 15K YouTube subscribers by the end of Hot Best Ball Summer. And I think it's a pretty ambitious goal. I would need to add 2,200. So maybe that's not that ambitious. I think for my pace it is. This is the deal. I came up with a thing for my road to 15K, and it's this simple. After any stream where I draft one of my 150 Best Ball Mania streams, if you leave a comment, and it has to be a real comment, not first, I will enter you in to a contest to win $1,500 in cash prizes. I think I'll do 3 at the end of the summer if we hit it. So $500 to 3 people. And every time you leave a comment on one of my Best Ball Mania streams, you will get another entry. So if you comment on every one of mine, they'll probably end up being like 40 or 50 because I'll do multiple drafts on each stream. You'll have 50 entries into the contest. So I described the details in the show notes down below, but that is how I am incentivizing you, both the commenters and new subscribers. Support the channel, get me to 15K, and I'll make it worth your while with a $1,500 giveaway when we hit it.
It is fun. No. I feel like people watch, but they don't subscribe. I do the same thing, right? I'm on there. It is actually quite helpful if you subscribe to the channel.
It is. And Pat, I also have his YouTube channel in the description down below. It's linked. Legendary Upside. Pat's been doing some mailbag episodes. Has had. I think Michael Leone's Best Ball Manifesto is going to be the best piece of best ball content that comes out this year. And Pat did a long interview with him on the channel. And I know there was some worry of, hey, how applicable is this stuff going to be with the BBM settings? Yes, I think things have slightly tweaked, but I don't think it invalidated basically any of the research he did. So make sure you read that article, watch the video on Pat's channel. And as we're saying, subscribe, help you boys out.
What do we got?
Mr. Irrelevant here, Pat.
Should be a running back, right?
I think running back. Someone mentioned Zach Evans. Do you have any love for Zach Evans? Chase Brown?
Chase Brown. Yeah, that's a great pick.
Chase Brown feels fun.
Chase Brown shouldn't be here.
Yeah, what did you have him?
I had him there's a 14th round plus type guy. That was a guy I'm I don't like him that much, the prospect, but it's an empty depth chart. It's Travion Williams. Obviously Joe Mixon's there, right? But they're not playing him on third downs. We know that.
Yeah.
And Chase Brown, kind of undersized. He's versatile. He pass blocks well. He'll be out. He could win that job pretty easily. And then what's going on with this whole Mixon thing? Could be suspended, could get cut. If Mixon gets cut and they sign Kareem Hunt or, Zeke or something, wheels up for Chase Brown.
Going from if the Bengals go from Joe Mixon to a Kareem Hunt and just completely don't learn their lesson, it's just come on, guys.
Oh yeah, that's true. Kareem, it can't be Kareem. It's got to be Zeke or Lenny or something.
But the fact that case against him did resurface, because at first it seemed like, oh, it's going to be a non-issue, and then we were like, hey, he's probably an extreme value where he's going, and now that risk is back introduced, and now they draft a guy with a pretty interesting prospect profile. I think that definitely puts him on the radar there a bit.
Yeah, especially because he does profile as kind of a Perine type guy,
Yeah,
and or at least how they were. It was so weird because Perine didn't profile as Perine, but he's similar to how they were using Perine.
Yeah. Ken wants to know odds this fills by mid-August. Seems like the streaming schedule might need to be condensed. Hey, Ken, you let me worry about the logistics here. All right. I will say Underdog basically has the ability to pull the levers on the pacing of this however they want, because the second they release a puppy draft, everyone's going to funnel over there and forget about Ball Mania for a while. So it will ultimately be when Underdog wants it to finish. I feel pretty strongly about.
Yeah. I think it might. How much bigger is it than last year?
Well, last year was like 470,000 entries, and this year it is 677,000 entries.
Okay. Yeah, that seems pretty well sized.
Yeah. Look at Leone and Spags in a draft together.
Look at that.
Yeah. Pat, check the private chat here. Let's see. Bengals would get Frank Gore before letting Chase Brown take over. Yeah, we will see about that. The thing about the NFL is there's a lot of chaos that happens. And
they would no, but I agree. I mean, they would bring in somebody, but the people they would bring in now are like potentially dust. Kareem Hunt, I think, might be done. The teams think he might be done. That's why he's still available. So what are you saying they're going to do? The draft's over and there's like no one else. I mean, I guess Zeke would be like, if you know, he wasn't healthy the last couple of years and he's got a little something left, but like, I don't know. I think Chase Brown shouldn't be available in the 18th, and I don't really like him that much.
Yeah. I mean, when you're playing like the depth chart game, I think it definitely makes sense. All right. What else do we got here? Here we go. Both Zeke draftable.
Yeah, I think so. Because you do actually have a payoff there, right?
Yeah, I guess. All right, Pat, did you get in to the draft? I'm in.
Yeah. It starts.
Okay. All right.
Are we in the same one?
We better be.
Yeah, we're in the same one.
Okay. All right, look at this. All right, so Pat and I were trying to make sure we could get in the same one. We're close to each other. No influencer one. I'm 110, and you are at the turn. I mean, Pat, no one runs worse than you.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What? I'm never allowed to be disappointed for the rest of my life?
No, exactly. It's just all gravy. For the rest of
everything's gravy now?
Yep. That's how it goes.
All right, fine.
That is how it goes.
Fine. Pat can't complain about 12 thick. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just realized you're lost. Hey,
this
is bullshit.
Mad,
I gave Pat my StreamYard login for the ship chasing stream on Wednesday, and I just realized he's not still logged into my account, so he can pull up comments. What if I don't want those comments pulled up, Pat?
So I've seen that wasn't necessarily a comment about you, but it is now. It's a comment about your whole deal.
Thank you, Nick. I am still, I'm getting my bearings. I had done a bunch of the solo shows with my new overlay, so I'm still trying to figure out my setup here for the two guests. But it seems like you guys are enjoying this, right? Because I'm just personally, I'm bored with this one. I can't do this one anymore. I like having the bigger boxes.
This better. It feels like we're hanging out more.
We're chilling.
Yeah. I've enjoyed the dynamic a little bit better.
Yeah. Yes. This is the dynamic that Spags and I have where we just mercilessly roast each other's teams for, if you guys draft fast, Pat and I can talk shit about your teams, and now I can get all my Sam Howell and Trey Lance shares without him judging me.
Where do you think Trey Lance should be drafted?
I don't know, 14th, 15th round.
And just because he's got that rushing upside, so if he's starting for you, it can be a difference maker. Is that the thesis?
My thesis is still like, I'll believe the Brock Purdy optimism timeline when I see it. And yes, everything the team says is awful about him. So that is definitely tough to stomach. But I still like a world where the Niners start Sam Darnold over Trey Lance. I think I might just quit everything if that happens. If Purdy's not around and Darnold starts, which sounds like a very legitimate possibility.
It sounds
so maybe
sounds like what national reporters are saying today will happen, but
But Pat, do you know what else I can't stomach? if Trey Lance goes scorched earth and I bail at the last possible minute, I'll never be able to forgive myself.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you?
That.
I don't think you do.
I get it from, why you're doing what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you.
But you know what? I actually, when you look at, I think I pulled up my big board exposures on another stream. I actually ended up balancing it out with a decent amount of Purdy. It was kind of like, I've talked to Brian a bit about my co-host on Lowell's Brick 75 about like portfolio theory too. And it was kind of like a similar concept to even like the Leonard Fournette, Rashaad White stuff too, of like, this backfield is going to produce a ton of points, and maybe that thesis didn't bear out completely with those guys. But I'm going to just piss in this draft. But just saying like that, being on the opposite ends of those, if you're still being price conscious, and both Lance and Purdy were pretty cheap in some of those late drafts. And I guess the counterpoint would be, do you win anything even if you're right with Brock Purdy, right? Whereas if you're right with Trey Lance, you do feel pretty good about winning something. Is Brock Purdy going to be a guy that like delivers at like a 7th or 8th round value? I guess that's the question on the Brock Purdy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know enough about the UCL stuff to know like when he comes back, is it going to be really limiting in terms of, but I mean, he certainly showed that you would want to have him, in the fantasy playoffs, basically for free. But again, I guess my thing is basically all the research shows that like you don't really want to be tacking on a third quarterback super late. And so maybe Purdy makes some sense as like a playoff play specifically, but with the injury, it's tougher for me to get on board. But I guess in some ways I'm better with Purdy than with Lance, because I'm like, at least I'm getting him at the very end of the draft, and it's specifically hoping that he comes on at the end and actually pushes me through the playoffs, and you can stack him up. He's also more stackable, so if he comes in and the passing offense takes off and you've got it all stacked up, like you power through the playoffs and advance that team. I mean, that's like a thesis, at least.
I do love a good thesis. Relax, Chipsy. I just said I had almost as much Purdy as I did Lance, but that doesn't get the people going on Twitter like my Trey Lance and Kyle Pitts love. Speaking of Kyle Pitts, I haven't even seen where did you notice where he went in our other draft?
I didn't
either.
One thing I'll say, I mean, I thought like Lance, and in the Superflex stuff, I thought he made way more sense where he was going. I thought that was like fine.
Yeah.
Because there is a payoff in Superflex. So much of my Lance thing is like, I just don't think this format provides a very big payoff for, a 14th round quarterback with job security issues.
Cody got Pitts in the 6th in his, so that sounds about right where he was going. Bid board, GME holder, 5-6 turn. McVibes is excited. We're all excited. Pat, talk about your start, trying to recapture the Barkley Eckler start here with Bijan.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to do it again. I was like the little angel devil sort of situation where it's like, on the one hand, I'm about to get locked out of wide receiver and just punt off $25. On the other hand, I don't know that there's going to be a lot of Bijan, Jonathan Taylor starts in Best Ball Mania this year. I don't think it'll be all that common, even though they're going to be going kind of around this range, unless Taylor falls. But Bijan, I think, is going to start to go higher than this. Getting Bijan at 12 felt awesome.
Yeah, because I think did Bijan go 8 or 9 in our first draft? And I assume that's where his ADP is going to be, like 7, 8, 9 range.
Yep, I think so.
See what Furburger does here. I started Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson. For the audio listeners, I would prefer you guys watch on YouTube, but I do, of course, post these in the In a Vacuum podcast feed for those of you on the go. And I have promised that I will always service the audio listeners. Pat, we were looking at Ramondre in our last draft. I am going to grab him here as my first running back.
I like that. Dude, what's going on with Hopkins? Is he getting traded?
Man, that was like one of the biggest rumors heading into draft night, right? It was like the Bills, like Von Miller was going on McAfee show, just heavily inferring that like the deal was almost done. It seemed like he was going to get moved, and then crickets.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
I do. I'm going to take
Sean, I appreciate that. I would appreciate next time if it was just $5.01 more to help me on my quest to not have to pay for any of my Best Ball Mania entries, but I do appreciate your super chat, Sean. Let's see. Pat goes, wow. God, you've just lost the thread now. Just taking the old dusty wide receivers. Who are you, dude?
Tilt you.
Yeah,
I knew it
did.
You know what it is, Pete? It's the FFPC mindset. Now I need the guys who are going to get in there and score me some points, get in there and catch me some balls. I went with the Crack Rock PPR. If I was Crack Rock, I would just say PPR, even though it's half PPR.
Yeah, even though it's half point. I guess I maybe could have taken Mark Andrews there. I just like hate, like, I think this tight end tier is like relatively close, you know, from Andrews down to Goddard. And so I don't like taking the first of that tier. I think Mike Williams is maybe slightly overvalued now that Quentin Johnson is there. So I went Jerry Jeudy, gives myself another kind of backdoor stacking option. And I still like Jeudy in this range. I guess maybe you could argue that, like, do you think Watson and Drake London should go over Jeudy? Yeah. I think it's close with those guys. I probably prefer Watson, but just going to play the ADP game there early. Do you not like Jeudy at all?
I mean, I don't think it's great that they took Mims in the second round. You know, like Tim Patrick's coming back. They have Sutton. I think Mims is a pretty good prospect. And like Hamler's still on the team, even though I know he's hurt, but like I doubt he gets cut, right? He's still in his rookie deal. So they're like super deep at wide receiver now. They also just traded for Adam Troutman. They've got Dulcich and they've got Albert O. So it might be like one of the least condensed offenses in the entire league. And how many passing attempts are we getting? And does Russ suck again? So it's not very appealing to be like, I want the most expensive guy. Give me the pricey one.
I think that's fair, but I think also like Jerry Jeudy proved that he is the best at earning targets in that offense. Like I'm not going to discount Jerry Jeudy because of Albert O, you know, like,
no, yeah, fair enough. But it's like holistically, it's like, do I want to invest in this offense? And you have to pay a lot to invest with him.
It is like a mind fuck with Denver, right? Because I kind of want to buy back in with Sean Payton, you know, just because I think he is going to help right the ship in a lot of ways, except Sean Payton seems very much out on Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he just pulls the plug on that early, being like, I'm not dealing with this shit, then it could be like a total retool year for them.
I know that could be a problem, right? That his coach doesn't want to deal with him.
Yeah.
It could be a minor inconvenience.
Yeah. And yeah, if this is the takeaway too, maybe then, I mean, we ended up taking him at an extreme value. I don't think where we got him in that draft was bad at all. But yeah, if you have him pushed up there around like the Schultz, Knox, or wherever that, you know, 130 ADP, where it did seem, I guess, but Pat, like, I know JJ released his tight end model too, and Dulcich fared really well. But I do think people are spooked of him being just a product of Nathaniel Hackett's infatuation.
I don't think he's necessarily product because I think he's good and I think he does something. He stretches the seam, and like, you know, the Packers drafted Musgrave like specifically to stretch the seam, and it's something Dalton Kincaid does really well. Like, if you want a tight end to do that, like he is that guy, but his coach doesn't seem particularly interested in his play. He didn't seem like he liked what he saw. So I had a ton of Dulcich in the pre-draft stuff because I basically a similar thing to JJ where I'm like, damn, that rookie season looks really good.
Yeah,
but I am a little spooked.
Oh man, this is a gross spot. My tight ends, I would have grabbed one of Pitts or Kittle had they fell there. I think we can still do Goddard here. Let's go ahead and grab Goddard. It's a little early. but I have an
This does feel
idea of
gross
something I
right
want to
now.
do.
This feels quite gross.
Thank you, Ben. Ben says sends $5.01 in, so I am up to 25, so I can just fully punt this one off free roll style. Thanks to the chat, minus the YouTube rake. And he has 3 different streams right now just to jack the ratings for you. I am, it tells me 384 people are watching right now. I know that's 381 or 2 plus 2 more from Ben. I appreciate you.
God, I hate this range of the draft, dude.
Man, yeah, when you have to take Watson over Herbert for your stack, it's a tough scene.
Awful.
Take your boy Tyler Lockett. You love Tyler Lockett.
No, I'm gonna take Jackson over Tyler, I think.
The thing, man, God, am I going to be so far off? I thought we were going to get and I know it's still early, but I thought we were going to get 8th or 9th round JSN now.
We should, but there's no one else in this entire range that I want to take.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can everyone else stop taking the players I like earlier so I can take them here. Stop being efficient, market. This feels like very dead zone-y, and maybe it's because the dead zone, the traditional dead zones move back a couple rounds. So it's just a tough spot to be in for my team where I went running back. I really didn't want to take another running back there. There were some guys that I could have talked myself into maybe, but I just didn't want to.
Yeah. No, I think where you took JSN is where he should go. I just want more of a discount because everyone I heard is I hate this landing spot for JSN. This is a brutal landing spot for JSN. And it's well, start drafting it so I can get him at a discount.
Yeah, right. I know.
The Neil drafted a team similar to mine: Adams, Ramondre, Judy, and Goddard. I did tack on Aaron Jones. Decided to value hound that there. Aaron Jones at pick 63 seemed completely fine.
Yeah, that's one of the guys I thought about taking as a third running back, but I don't think I could have afforded it.
Yeah. Yeah, Zach thinks Aaron Jones is very underpriced. I was banking on that, Pat. That's why I took Goddard first, because I was I'm pretty sure Pat isn't taking. I almost pulled the trigger. I had to take Jones, but I did really want to take Swift because I just want a Swift share, but it's going to be a long summer.
It's going to be a long summer.
A long summer. Yeah, I mean, JW bringing up something we were touched on in the first hour. QB seemed to be going very early to start. Thoughts on skipping the stacks and going naked AR-15 a few rounds later and maybe downs back or late?
Yeah, but look at who's in this. And, I'm on the stream with Pete. Am I going to build my whole strategy as I'm drafting on the turn around getting and drafting on the turn and Pete's 2 picks ahead of me? I don't think I can build my strategy around Anthony Richardson in this draft, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a long summer. What is your take on Jordan Love? I don't know if I've heard the Kerrane. Pretty solid pick. I don't think he's a great pick, but I think he could be kind of a Daniel Jonesy if you're getting him in the 14th round, right? I think I was saying that I liked. He was going near Pickett in Superflex, and I can't remember which guy was on in Superflex, but I like him more than Pickett, I think, in one quarterback, because at least, maybe he runs around a little bit more. Yeah. And job security. He's got job security. Yeah. If Jaden Reed is good, they can, Watson, Dobbs, and Reed, that could be a pretty fun young cohort of wide receivers. Plus, they double tap tight end, and they took Luke Musgrave, who's kind of a very boom bust type of pick, I think, but a Dulcich Kincaid style guy. He's a seam stretcher. And then they took Tucker Kraft, who's more like the underneath yards after catch guy. But they said they think both can play in line. And I honestly think they might just be doing the Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel thing, where they're we want a good tight end for our young quarterback, and we're taking 2, and we hope one of them's good. So, yeah. I don't know. I think the weapons could be okay, is my point. What do we have going on here? Ugh. Yikes. We did. Maybe I set up this. Maybe we just push all in on Denver here. We're going to grab Sutton.
And then we'll see what running back comes back, maybe. Let me see the quarterback ADPs.
Oof. Dak went there.
Were you looking at him?
I was eyeing him up, yeah.
Were you gonna go? You're gonna go Dak Cooks?
I think I'm going Cooks anyway because I just need the wide receiver so bad.
Yeah.
So sorry to you. You took Dak and thought you were getting Cooks, but you're not. And then I'm gonna go in Njoku.
Oh yeah, because you have Watson.
Yeah.
Omega has the Herbert Eckler stack. We did Pacheco last draft. I'll do Pierce now.
So I do think Omega screwed that up. You take Cooks.
Yeah.
Because I'm not assuming he wanted to do the Cook stack. You take Cooks. I'm not going to take a naked Dak.
Yeah.
But I will take a naked Cooks because I need the receivers super bad.
Yeah. Holy shit, JG. Thank you, my man. $49 super chat. Look at the pink. Says, thanks for kicking off Best Ball Season with this stream. Of course, man. Like I said, I had booked Pat to do an intimate Best Ball After Dark hangout. And then Underdog's like, we're blasting this thing off on Saturday night. I was like, Pat, we got to have a programming shift here. We're drafting Best Ball Mania 4 teams. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Joey says he was in one of these where someone drafted 9 quarterbacks. I've seen some of those screenshots posted earlier, and that's unfortunate when you have your time wasted like that. Andrew wants me to give a blessing for the Bruins. Sure. I'm not. If I'm going to have a hockey team, it's my Colorado Avalanche, who are struggling with the Kraken these days. I am going to the Celtics game on Monday night. Celtics Sixers game 1. Nice. So that should be fun.
That should be fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Willis is rooting for the Panthers. There you go. I got to sweat some of my dance teams live in person. Pat wouldn't know anything about the other underdog contest because he just took all his money off and doesn't play in any of the other ecosystem.
When you said site. Dance teams, I literally was like, what is the, are you like betting like some kind of like dance competition show? Like,
yeah, it's like Dance Revolution that Underdog's doing.
Well, I thought maybe you had like Dancing with the Stars bets or something, you know? Did you end up betting at all on the NFL draft? Did you get it? No, I can't do it in New York. So it's like, you know, I'll go to Paris, but I won't go to Jersey.
Yeah. Jesus, Pat. How was?
How did you let me? I had to give you the beat to even let that sink in. You're just gonna let me get away with that?
I am gonna let you get away with it. How are your fucking croissants?
They were delicious, man. They were delicious.
Did you? What was the best thing you ate in Paris?
We got these sardines that were like, they looked almost like they're flash fried or something, but they were like kind of like very, like the skin was kind of like charred and really flavorful. And, you know, sardines are kind of an intense tasting fish to begin with, but then on the inside, they were like, kind of like cracked into them and they were like juicy. It was like one of the best. I like sardines a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's probably the best preparation of it I've ever had.
Love it. Love it. I don't trust you right now, Pat. I feel like I just don't have a good read on all your stuff. So I'm just got to take my guy, Russell Wilson, now for my double stack here and not risk it with this wild card, this loose Parisian wild card on the turn.
I actually have no idea what to do now because all the things I wanted to do are gone. All right. I guess I'm going Rashaad Penny, even though we talked about how he should be going later. And
I did think about Rashaad Penny there.
And fuck it, I'm taking Anthony Richardson. Cycle on that draft.
Wow. Talk about living a little. He wasn't coming back on the turn, I will say that.
No, he wasn't coming back on the turn. And I have Jonathan Taylor, so I'm betting on the super efficient Colts offense.
Yeah.
I know everyone. Yeah, Gino was perhaps more prudent, But we're not playing to be prudent here.
Man, this is gross. This is a running back pick. I'm not taking fucking Tyler Algier. Man, Javonte or P. Ryan? Whew.
What about James Cook? Well, I shouldn't be helping you, but
You want me to take James Cook? The guy who won Best Ball Mania 3 wants me to take James Cook. I guess I have to take James fucking Cook. Well, I had a big Denver bet. The one thing I was thinking through is because I do have like an earlier running back room of taking on the risk of Javonte in that room versus if you have like a true 0 RB build and needing some of that production right away from P. Ryan.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't add anybody, did they? Denver?
I don't think they did. Yeah, Pat, this is a good question. Did you get invited to the White House for winning BBM3 or is they still doing that?
No, because they were also gonna they also invited Liam, so I refused to
go. It was like what was that? Was it the women's basketball?
Yeah, they invited
yeah.
both teams.
Yeah,
that's what I was going for.
Yeah, okay. I picked up on it. I wasn't too smooth with it, but I got it. McVibes, the dance is actually going very well for me. I have a very good advance rate right now.
Nice.
I got extremely lucky because I basically didn't end up with any Giannis, not because I didn't want him, just based on how the draft slots fell for me. And then I took a ton of Jimmy Butler and Bam late. And so then Miami upset the Bucks. And so like the number 1 overall pick, who I was massively underweight on, that I had directly leveraged. So that worked out very well.
So great. So far, so good.
Yeah, Chris G, like for those of you guys who aren't Deposit Kingdom OGs, like back in the day, I was way more on top of adding emojis. Although I did recently add an emoji of Ben Gretsch in his helmet from Wednesday night.
I saw that.
I added a Bam emoji solely for Chris G because this guy wouldn't talk about anything other than Bam being his favorite player in the goddamn NBA. And you know what? It's finally paying off for me, Chris. Your guy's finally paying off for me. Did you guys have did you and Liam kind of coordinate now's the time, the Best Ball Mania champs go on vacation? I'm going to Portugal. Yeah. You're going to Paris. Is that what happened?
Yeah. We're like, so bro, should we go to Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, hold down France, you hold down Portugal.
Yeah. I thought maybe Underdog sent you guys on a recruitment mission. And you guys, you were actually handing out pamphlets.
Dude, I have to tell you, when I was in Paris and I would just talk to people, I'd be like, les best ball. And dude, we're so early. Les
best ball. That reminds me, you know the comedian Chris Gethard, right?
Yeah.
So, The Office, he had a very small part in a couple episodes of the original Office, and The Office just had a big convention recently, and they brought back all of the actors, and they had all these lines set up to get signatures. So you can just go Steve Carell, and obviously the line goes around the block. So, God damn it, who took Rogers? Seriously, dude, this is the first snipe where I actually get pissed off. Come on, dude. That's disgusting. Why? Why would you do that? I don't want to take a right. I'm going to fucking tilt pick Dalton Schultz. God damn it.
Yikes.
Anyways, so Chris, he did an Instagram live. It just literally no one coming to his table all day. I imagine Underdog sending you, Pat, you show up at the Louvre and you're like, BBM3 champ signing autographs. Just people walking right by you.
That would be pretty good. All right, what am I doing here?
Liam, what's going on here? Do you have 2 YouTube accounts going? There's this one, and then there's the one where you're the YouTube. Are you multi-tabling YouTube accounts right now? What's going on, Liam? You're a weird dude, man.
You're a weird dude, man. I did 2 reaches for correlation. I know we're not supposed to, but I did it.
You sandbagging son of a bitch. I felt like I had to twist your arm on Alec Pierce last round, and now you're just like blasting off on him 20 picks ahead of ADP.
Well, we didn't have Anthony Richardson in that draft, and I have him in this draft.
Hmm. All right. I'm gonna take Dobbs.
Nice.
All right. Let's recap for the audio listeners who I do always promise to service. I will read my team and then Pat will read his. I have Russell Wilson, and I should have had Aaron Rodgers, but someone just fucking sniped me. My running backs were Ramondre, Aaron Jones, Damian Pierce, James Cook. My wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Romeo Dobbs. Tight ends, Dallas Goedert, and Dalton Schultz. What do you got, Pat?
I have Deshaun Watson and Anthony Richardson at quarterback. I have Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, my running back start, and then Rashaad Penny tacked on as a third. DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Brandon Cooks, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Alec Pierce at wide receiver, and David Njoku at tight end.
Yeah, I like your team. You're definitely living a little ADP wise here.
Oh yeah.
But you got the correlations dialed up.
I got the correlations, and I think I've spent correctly in terms of total draft capital spent at the running back so far, even though I've gone running back. And I don't think I've been locked out of wide receiver, which was a major concern with my start. My wide receivers aren't what you would call good, but I mean, the room kind of makes sense. To get Jackson Smith and Jigba with Cooks, Amari Cooper, and Hopkins is kind of those 4 kind of work together over the course of the year, maybe.
I mean, Pat, you've proven that you can win with shitty wide receivers. I mean, you won $2 million with Hunter Renfrow as one of your picks. So you can sprinkle a few of those duds in.
I did enjoy in your video. What did you say? You got me good on Renfrow.
Oh, I said rare mess when I was
Rare
recapping
mess.
your team.
Good.
I'll plug that again. I got that pin there. If you guys are getting excited about Best Ball Mania teams, it's a good look back at two winning teams and kind of finding some of the similarities that they both had, and with an eye toward how you guys can apply those to Best Ball Mania 4. So definitely check out that video. Also have some sound bites from Peacock Pat Kerrane. I got to stop calling you Peacock Pat Kerrane now. It's now Paris Pat Kerrane, Patty Millions, as David Kitchen was calling you. I got to update that.
Yeah, I guess I should have started something with a P instead of Legendary Upside, because I can't get my own site as part of this.
Yeah. God damn it. Did someone take who took Jordan Love? These guys, Fookster. You guys just keep sniping me. And now who's staring at me? Of course. What do we want to do here? I might dance around with my Houston stuff here. I'm going to grab Nico.
Man,
Wow.
drafting on the turn can be pretty rough.
See, is this the new strategy? Target Hog said he won 500K with Russell Gage. Got to have some duds. I like this. Instead of the low advance rate guy, you actually just say, no, I want a guy that actually just fucking sucks on my team and doesn't ever help me. Not even in the playoffs.
Well, sorry, Pete, but shouldn't have let me take Marvin Mims.
Oh, I thought I was, no, you scared me there. I thought you were going to take CJ Stroud.
Aren't you doing a big Denver thing?
I and a big Houston thing.
Oh, okay.
I have Damian Pierce, Nico, and Schultz, and I just tacked on Stroud, and I have Wilson, Jeudy, and Sutton.
Okay.
I would have had the running back, but the BBM3 champ bullied me into James Cook instead. No, this is, I will say, a lot of people have told me I'm crazy for doing this, but I honestly enjoy drafting with other sharp people because it gets me off some of my bullshit tendencies. And like, the team I drafted with Bime for that finished top 10, that was a team that I never would have drafted on my own. And I don't think it was a team he would have ever drafted on your own. I always reference the team we drafted with Crack Rock on ship chasing that ended up being one of our best teams, where he got us on some picks we never would have made that year. We had, it was the Eckler, Derrick Henry team, and we had the Josh Allen stacked up with Diggs. And it's like, sometimes when you like mesh your drafting styles and your player takes with someone else, you can end up in some interesting corners of the game tree that you otherwise wouldn't end up in.
100%. And I think that's why, look, if you're kind of like on the fence about whether or not to chase the week 17 stuff, I would say you should do it because of the way, how much is in the final round compared, 2/3 of the money's in that final round. But I would also say in chasing it, you're going to do some other sharp stuff. Like you're going to pivot off of takes that you are probably have take lock on, because we all get take lock, and that correlation makes you, take guys that you wouldn't have taken, get out of your comfort zone, think through taking, like sometimes just the act of thinking through taking someone helps you like realize like, oh, I've been just kind of like ignoring this player who is actually a pretty good pick here.
Yeah. Everyone wants to know, who is this year's Will Fuller? Do we have someone who's not signed yet who's still getting drafted?
Yeah, so we have to think about, to be Will Fuller, who's like probably not even going to play like a single game this year, but people are still drafting him for some reason. Is there anyone like that?
Please, Pat. We already did the Trey list. Like, I'm not falling for this. I'm not falling for it.
I wasn't rhetorical. I was just curious.
No. There was an air of smugness to that question.
There was. I was implying Lance.
Fournette's a good one, right?
Yeah, Fournette, Zeke, and Hunt are probably the three. It might be Hunt. Yeah, Hunt's probably the best answer, because Mixon's a good. Yeah, could be
Michael Thomas. I mean, people aren't actually drafting Antonio Brown, are they?
Oh, I mean, if they are, the answer is him.
All right, Furburger. All right, we're just stacking this bitch up. Tim Patrick, Russell Wilson triple stack. What could go wrong?
God, what am I gonna do?
What are you at? You're at a 2-4-7-1.
Yeah, I would like to go running back here, but it's not any running backs I like. I think I have to, though. You'll never believe it, but I take a lot of this guy.
You take Rojo?
I take a lot of Fournette.
Well, okay, speak on that. We were just talking about him.
Yeah, because Fournette has shown that he's like. I also take a lot of Jelani Woods because he's going to catch touchdowns from Anthony Richardson. I think he's kind of sharp in the way, like, he went and he goes to the Bucs. He went over to Brady's house. He knows where his bread is buttered with this type of stuff. And I think he's probably eyeing up some of these teams that are actually like it's not lost. I don't think it's lost on Fournette like that the Chiefs don't have a pass catching running back yet. So I don't know. But of the guys, he seems like the dude who's going to go somewhere where it's going to be like good for him as opposed to just trying to like chase the money.
Yeah. No, I mean, it almost feels like the Chiefs are the only, maybe the Bills, like where it would make no sense for him to go anywhere else.
Right. And if he goes to the Chiefs, like he's a smash.
Yeah. He'd be like what everyone wanted LaShawn McCoy to be when he went to the Chiefs.
The other spot that would be interesting is if he went to the Chargers.
Why?
Because he's the big-bodied. They need like a kind of a hammer, and he is versatile enough to where if you want to play action, like you don't have to worry about, oh, this is a pass play. Fournette's out there.
The problem is though, like part of what you get excited about with Fournette is that he's still going to get a shit ton of checkdowns, and that's not going to happen with Eckler there. Whereas he could go to the Chiefs and immediately be like the pass catching back.
The Chiefs is by far the best landing spot for him, by far.
Yeah. I went ahead and took Tyquan Thornton. He's another one of my bullshit picks, but man, like the draft has been good to him. I think he's too cheap in this range at pick 183.
Yeah, I thought hard about taking him, and I didn't have any reason to take him, like correlation wise. But I just think he's a good pick. Second year guy. He was inefficient his rookie season, but they didn't do anything that's going to impact his playing time.
Yeah,
and he's super fast. So I don't know. I think he makes sense.
I do as well. Let's see. Fournette to the Bengals, unlikely. LSU connection.
Oh, I mean, there you go. The Bengals would be better than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because that's a backfield. Like, Mixon gets cut and they sign Fournette. Like, I mean, holy shit.
That is a funny thought. Remember that video of Melvin Gordon at the Super Bowl this year? That's 2023 Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
I still can't believe Ronald Jones, Pat, Super Bowl champ.
What do you mean?
In 2023.
Don't sell Ronald Jones short, dude. He's got 2 rings.
Wait, what? Oh God, I forgot about the 2.
Yeah,
The
come
2?
on, man. Give the man some respect.
Can you imagine if Dallas wins the Super Bowl, man, and Ronald Jones has 3 Super Bowl rings?
3 rings. 3 rings for Ronald Jones.
All right, what are we gonna do here? I need running backs too. Let me just check some initial post-draft best ball rankings. See if there's anything interesting here for me.
Whose rankings are you checking there, bud?
Did Zach Evans already go? That was going to be my... not Zach Evans. Where did Sean Tucker go?
He's undrafted to the Bucks.
Oof. I'm going to just take Dwayne McBride.
That makes sense.
All you guys took all the fun rookies already. Jerks. We had Tank go 148. Roshan went 152. Tajay Spears 156. My other pet picks, Jalen Warren and Chuba, were off the board. I wasn't going to take Pierre Strong with my Ramondre bet. Izzy goes snap after my Dwayne McBride pick. And I am at a 2.582. Probably need another running back flyer here. I probably should have taken Izzy.
I still like Izzy a bit.
Yeah. We just were rooting for a better landing spot.
No, it was a terrible landing spot, especially long term, but he could have some value early.
All right. When you draft with Pat Kerrane, sometimes you just got to take Ronald Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just got to do it.
Hey, Matt asks the medical exclusion. I believe it was his heart. Sean Tucker, it was his heart, I think. Yeah. So it seemed actually, I think only like a few teams went to the like special pro day that he held because he wasn't cleared for his Syracuse pro day.
Yeah.
And I read an article about his pro. He didn't run the 40 there. He had like a pretty good vertical. He jumped like 39 inches, but he didn't run. And they were saying like, I think like 3 teams sent scouts. So I was like, God, he must be off like everybody's board.
Yeah.
So, but I guess the Bucks got him pretty quick.
Short Gamer wants you to talk about the Irv Smith pick. Very, very cheap there. Obviously love him in Joe Burrow stacks, but at that price, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah, I just didn't really get why he was available. He's there's not really much competition. And I've never been a big Irv Smith guy. The thesis has always just been like, he's young, but he's not young anymore. But yeah. They didn't, it seemed like they were definitely going to replace him, and they didn't. And now like it's kind of wheels up, right? Like he's kind of like a 15th round value. He's not like it's not a smash, but I think to get him as your last round pick, you're just hoping he has like a couple touchdowns in week 15, gets you through. And I was on the borderline with Njoku and Jelani Woods. I think that could be a 2 or a 3, but I figure, hey, free Irv, it makes it a pretty nice 3 tight end build.
Love it. Pat, this feels real good to be naming my first draft here. Feels real good, man. I'm not gonna lie.
So this is the one we did before together.
This is the first one. This is the one where if this wins 3 million, I have to Venmo you 1.5 million.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the rules, which I mean, that would be just the toughest of scenes for me to have to do that.
Now, if you win this one, how much are you going to Venmo me for the James Cook pick?
Well, we'll see what James Cook's advance rate is. And then we could go from there.
All right. We'll have to have that discussion.
I gotta figure out what my naming conventions are going to be this year. Oh, this one's.
I feel like, if you win with James Cook, that feels like, payback. We're even after I won from stacking the shit out of week 17, which was your idea. So
yeah, exactly. All right, let's service the audio listeners here. So my final team, 2682, went heavy on Denver and Houston. Russell Wilson, CJ Stroud. My running backs, Ramondre, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, James Cook, Dwayne McBride, and Ronald Jones, 98 yards to the fucking house. Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Romeo throw up the dubs, Nico Collins, Tim Patrick, Tyquan Thornton. Tight ends, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz. Pat, your team.
I have Deshaun Watson and Anthony Richardson, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Rashaad Penny, Tyjae Spears, and Leonard Fournette. DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Brandon Cooks, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Alec Pierce, Marvin Mims, and Cedric Tillman. I maybe have overstacked with the wide receivers there because I have Cooper, Tillman, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I don't have more. So I feel like maybe I've got a guy who's not playing a lot on the outside, but oh well. And I also have David Njoku for the stack, Jelani Woods, and Irv Smith.
There you go. There it is. We've kicked it off. 100 and well, Pat, you did one before this, right? So you have 2 down as well.
I have 2 down. Yeah.
There you go. And 148 more to go. Although Pat has not committed to streaming all of his drafts, which
I haven't.
like a smart
I actually have committed to not doing that. I am not doing it.
Yeah. There you go. Joe, this isn't a bad idea. Like, dude, if I just committed, I was just like, Lauren, can you take care of April for the next week? I'm just going to bang this out right now. Just stay true to my word and free up the rest of my summer. Can you imagine? Joe wants me to do a forever stream.
What's the opposite of a barbell? Because is it like a kettlebell?
Yeah.
The kettlebell?
It would be like a seesaw that never comes back down to the other side. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess I'm going for something that's like the middle, just the middle. But
exactly.
You just do it in 1 week. That would be incredible.
But yes, so no forever stream tonight. I will be back on Monday though for Best Ball Breakfast, and I will be expanding my Best Ball streaming coverage. I will keep you guys updated on that, but just keep 10 a.m. penciled in on your guys' calendar. Is going to be doing a lot of streams this summer. We're going to be bringing back the randomizer. Spags and I are going to be doing streams 10 a.m. on Tuesdays coming up in the near future as well. And of course, ship chasing. We'll be drafting all summer long. Pat, what other content plans you have on the horizon for people over at Legendary Upside?
Well, I've got the rookie rankings, which you mentioned earlier. I'm working on best ball ranks that'll be uploadable to Underdog. Hoping to have those out by Monday. Planning on working on those a bunch tomorrow. And so, yeah, those will be continuously updated, and going to be focusing on a lot of my time, making sure those are good ranks you can draft off, feel really good. Those will be behind the paywall over at Legendary Upside. If you go to legendaryupside.com/early, you can get $30 off. I'm running that through July 18th, which is a special day. It's the day that both me and King Cap drafted our winning teams. I plan to be doing quite a bit of streaming on that day. So you will, you'll get some, some reminders that the early bird discount goes away on July 18th. But I've also got a mailbag podcast on Dynasty. So I'm not forgetting the Dynasty people. We're doing mailbag pod with Jacob Sanderson and Davis Maddock, talking through the Dynasty ramifications of the draft. That'll be free. I'm doing a podcast with Kevin Cole, talking about some of the reactions to the draft. We did a Bold Takes episode on his show last week. We're kind of doing a home and away thing. He's coming on Legendary Upside podcast. And that's all free. The Legendary Upside podcast. You can listen wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. Yeah, we will have tons of content for you guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Get, at the very least, like I said, get the free subscription to Legendary Upside. You'll get some of those free posts from Pat, although I highly recommend getting all the good stuff behind the paywall.
My day one stuff was free. I did a day one reactions post, and that's completely free. So,
and my favorite thing about the paid version is getting the audio versions. Like, I didn't read your day one reactions. I threw that on my my podcast feed today, or the other day, and very much enjoy that. I got the link to Pat's YouTube channel down there below. Like most of you know, you can always join us on Ship Chasing Wednesday nights with Ben Gretsch. We're gonna have a fun summer of drafting on tap. And a reminder on my thing here for you guys to be entered. Get in the habit of leaving a comment after these streams are over. The second this stream is done, you'll be able to leave a comment there. One comment per video. I saw Chipsy talking about trying to gamify the system, but leave one good comment on every stream, and that will be an entry into a drawing to win $1,500 when I hit 1,500 subs, 15K subs. The road to 15K begins now. For Pat, I'm Pete. Hot Best Ball Summer is here. I'll be back Monday morning at 10 a.m. Good luck in your drafts. Appreciate you all. Have a good night.